I'm disappointed to see American companies becoming woke. It's sad. It breaks my heart. It really does. We're in a world of hurt. And 6 months ago, I wouldn't have said that this is a battle. But I'm saying it now. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Prep Life. Let's talk about this Tucker Carlson thing. The end of mainstream media. I think it is. Who the hell watches mainstream media anymore? I mean, everybody that I watch that's legitimate, I watch on YouTube. I mean, I watch it right here and right now. Good affirmation from the class in Colorado. Big shout out to everybody who came out in Elizabeth, Colorado. Big shout out to the range owner. All the guys, Matt Vandy, Matt Shea, had an amazing time in Colorado. But the affirmation of being on the range and guys like, thanks for what you do. Don't stop. I ain't stopping. And Prep Life, for sure, that's providing value, won't stop. I appreciate all you guys' support. Subscribe, hit the notification tab, all that good stuff, and we won't stop. I was driving back from Colorado and heard Tucker Carlson was leaving Fox News. I just flew to Florida to do Tucker's show, and I find Tucker one of the last voices of logic and reason. I want to say conservatism, but it's like he's not Bill O'Reilly. He's certainly not a right-wing guy. He's kind of like just in the middle. I mean, he's not a big fan of Trump, like I'm not a big fan of Trump. I think Trump's great for the position and role of draining the swamp and doing what he did, but I'm not the biggest fan because of the way he presented and the controversies he was involved in, because I want our country to move on and beyond that. And so when I see guys like Tucker Carlson saying the same thing, it's like, hey, man, I'm not beholden to anybody, which I certainly am not. And Tucker Carlson, by all indications, was certainly not fired or let go or just step away. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I heard it on Dan Bongino's show, which is super interesting, that he was gone. Speculations are that he got fired. Now, this is right after the Dominion settlement of over $780 million. I mean, really, that's a drop in the bucket for Fox News because they're crushing it. The Five is the number one rated show on TV, on Fox News. Number 2, Tucker Carlson. Number 3, Jesse Waters. Number 4, Sean Hannity. But when you take your rock star and you let him go, you fire him, and by no indications, by no news reports or facts that I could find, was Tucker Carlson even involved. Yeah, there's some text messages and some things, but this Dominion deal has nothing to do with Tucker Carlson, as reported by CNN. I mean, they're the ones who are saying, like, yeah, this didn't have anything to do with him. The same guys at CNN who just fired Don Lemon after 17 years. Oh, by the way, Don had no idea. It's pretty crazy that the stock with CNN went up when Don left. The stock went down with Fox News when Tucker Carlson left. I'm actually supposed to do Tucker's show, his long-form show, in Maine in the near future, like next month, in a few weeks, for Fox Nation, which is behind a paywall, but I don't know if that's going to happen now. Here's what I hope is happening. On Friday, Tucker Carlson gave a speech, and during that speech, he talked about basically the battle, the war that's going on between radical ideology that's affecting our country and the good versus evil. Because this isn't just about, like, I mean, I'm parastoring here, but he used abortion, where they're talking about the positives in getting abortions. Like, hey, be pro-abortion. Like rape, incest, all those things, there's valid concerns, even for me, who's somebody who is pro-life, who says, yeah, there is justification in some cases to be like, man, that person is obviously a victim, and it's the woman's body over that child's body, unfortunately. But there's some logic and reason given to that where it's beyond a certain period of time. Like, you have a certain period of time where you could decide. But once that baby, I would say about 6 weeks, has formed a life and there's a heartbeat, too late. You're now responsible for another human being. and you can't wait up into the point of birth, which in some states is legal, and you have this ethical argument for what are people standing for? Well, now there's entire debates and people standing for us castrating our children, creating human beings who are not capable of producing children. And is that for the survival of the species, or is it because there's something deeper and darker going on? And I agree with Tucker Carlson. I think that is deeper and darker, and it is good versus evil. All the stuff I see with the recklessness of the government and their inability because they've lost complete trust, like the FBI. I used to be a fan of the FBI. I wanted to be an FBI agent. I applied to their TRP, tactical recruiting program, because I wanted to be an HRT guy. I served with HRT guys overseas, been in gunfights with HRT guys. And I see everything that the FBI is today being weaponized, including going after me and American contingency. And I'm like, you've lost my trust. Well, Mike Glover doesn't matter. I don't matter. But I guarantee you the American people matter. And when the right person gets in charge, they're going to burn that entire organization to the ground because it's been weaponized. Tucker Carlson's been talking about that. I've been living that, which is why I was on Tucker Carlson's show. So when the last voice of reason and logic is pushed out, and I certainly appreciate the five, Sean Hannity, and some of those voices that are Fox News, I'm concerned. But I'm also happy. I think Tucker Carlson can do better. I hope he's one of the partners and the originators of the Daily Caller. I hope he goes back to that. He starts a YouTube channel and gets involved and invested. I hope he runs, as some rumors are proposing, that he runs for president of the United States. He would have my vote because he seems reasonable, logical, ethical, and the right person for the job, where we need all the leadership because we have none currently. Zero. Like negative. Don Lemon was fired. Thank God. CNN, when I was in the Q course in 2002, I went to SFAS, I went to the Q course in 2003, and I was watching both the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq. CNN was the front runner for providing like good news on the front line. Then they got woke. Certainly they got woke. It's like it's a cancer, and everybody's getting the disease. CNN, Disney, Anheuser-Busch. It's funny, I drove by Anheuser-Busch on the way to Colorado. And I drove by some of their factories and business offices, and I was sickened. Saddened, really. I mean, one, I drink bourbon. Jefferson currently is my favorite. Halling whiskey. I hope to get some of Brad Halling's whiskey. That might be the staple because I support Brad and his wife and everything they're doing. Currently sipping on Basil Hayden. I think it's 12-year Basil Hayden. Big fan of that. But I was disappointed. I'm disappointed to see American companies becoming woke. It's sad. It breaks my heart. It really does. Because there's like common sense and decency in the world where you don't have to be defined by your pronoun because the rest of the radical left wants you to abide by their woke agenda. You could be brave, like Tucker Carlson said. You could be a hero in your own community by saying, you know what? Yeah, I don't subscribe to that. I'm a guy. I'm married to a woman. Whatever your case may be, it's like you don't have to subscribe to that pronoun. Recently, they were talking about a YouTube gal, I heard this on Ben Shapiro, that had this YouTube channel for children. And she sings in a woman's voice, I assume she's a woman, to children. And then she decided recently that she wants to be a they because they don't want to be defined by their gender because genders are too conclusive. And we wonder why we're faced with active shootings, spikes in crime, more young men dying from drug overdoses as a leading cause of death than anything else because of the mental health dilemmas we're facing, where grown-ass men are basically infants because they have no purpose in life. And they're killing themselves as the majority of the gun statistics in troves. That's sad. We're in a world of hurt. And 6 months ago, I wouldn't have said that this is a battle. But I'm saying it now. We are in a culture war that will literally affect the rest of our society and civilization forever. And that will transpire and unfold in the next couple years. When I hear this radical garbage in national and woke media, it drives me insane. But what's scarier than the mainstream media's pushing propaganda is that people are buying into it. People are buying into it. They don't care if their children are sexualized by a trans man, biological man, who's dressed up in a thong like a woman and sexualizing their children in a parade or party. They don't care that they're teaching theories that have nothing to do with curriculum, math, science, biology, like things that I grew up learning, analog. They don't care because they're following and subscribing to the narrative. You should care. You should care. Had a great time coming out of Colorado. I will say this. Colorado is suffering because of all the politics. And when I see great Americans coming out to train with us who really care about the country, from all walks of life, from law enforcement to citizens to soccer moms, it's a good sign and indication to me that we still need to fight in our backyards and our communities. And the heroes aren't virtue signaling online what they're accomplishing. They're in the parent-teacher conferences. They're not putting their pronoun in their signature. They're fighting behind enemy lines, doing their best with what they got. You need to get involved, especially in your local community. AmericanContingency.com is a great place to start because you could band together and figure out the campaigning you need to do together because there is strength in numbers, especially with people who are like-minded, who only want to live a free life and live their best life in freedom. Really good seeing all you guys coming out in Colorado. I appreciate you guys coming out. I was super excited to train there. It's been a while. As you guys know, I had Fieldcraft Survival in a little town called Bayfield, Colorado, right next to Durango, Colorado, and I miss Colorado. It's really cool to hang out with Matt Vandy and Matt Shea, two, one former SWAT officer and one existing active SWAT officer who have built a good tribe of people who are training and doing their best to live their best prep life. We will be doing our best efforts at Fieldcraft Survival. Hopefully, I'm looking for investment. If you guys know anybody who would be a good partner, we're trying to build out facility and infrastructure. That includes Firebase Phoenix with Nate Jones, Doc Jones, and Mike Hernandez. Also, with Casey's guys flexing in to train. We're also trying to do that in Denver, Colorado, probably known as Firebase Parker, because it's going to be likely in Parker, which is west of our range use in Elizabeth, about 28 minutes outside of Parker. And trying to affect everybody by training and providing the solutions that you need. I'll be teaching a resilience course, Resilience Rendezvous, which is one of my favorite courses to teach, with Brian Parker, former NFL pro player, Andy Stumpf, Leah Stumpf, and company, to make you more resilient. That course is available at fieldcraftsurvival.com. I'm super concerned with all the things that are happening in the country, but it's a good sign to me that Tucker Carlson is leaving. I hope he leaves and starts his own thing that believes in First Amendment rights, that doesn't have a corporate woke agenda. Now, corporate agendas, even if it's on the conservative side, certainly has their agenda. Fox News just paid for that, as they should, if they're putting out false information with propaganda. But certainly leftist extremists who are woke are spitting the same. You know what the best policy is? Get the hell away from it all. Find organic channels like mine and many others that are doing it right, because they're not biased. I'm not biased. I'm about to go upstairs and take some CBD, CBN from Wolf 21 and go to bed. That doesn't make me a hippie, but it's like I don't subscribe to a lot of what the Republican Party is doing, as I certainly don't subscribe to anything that the Democratic Party is doing. So I see myself as a libertarian, certainly as an independent. I want the right person for the job. And you can affect change by doing that on your own, with your own opinion. If it doesn't catch traction, continue to put that good word out there from a place of truth, which is rare in the national and mainstream media. Good for Tucker Carlson. I hate to see that you have to step away from Fox, but so be it. I will no longer likely be watching Fox for much, but I will be tracking where Tucker Carlson's going, because he's a voice for reason. He always has been. And we need more people like that. I appreciate you guys. Till next time, live your prep life. Peace out.